BTFU.
Welcome back to another week of No Rules NRL. Lukey, how are you, big fella?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be back.
Nat, we've had to bring Lukey in. I've had to get rid of Gav for a week. He's gone back to the bench. It's the first fucking week he didn't tip the Tigers and they won.
Deserves it.
He will be
punny.
the biggest mock that I've ever seen.
Yep.
Great judge, but fuck, big mock. Like,
Yeah.
how do you've tipped them dead set every week and then they've come out and won, knocked off last year's premiers. It's all right. He spent a bit of time with Sammy Walker.
He got a bit ahead of himself, old Gav, didn't he? Got a couple of upsets in the first 3 weeks, and then he started going for the
Really went for the joke.
Tigers and the Knights and the
Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And then he had the
61
biggest
tops.
Hail Mary opportunity on the wet track.
Missed
It was there. Look, I was just waiting for Gav. I looked at him on the couch. I said, this week? And he goes, no, I like Penrith. And then
Bottled it.
Just as soon as they kicked off, I just went, this was Gav's moment.
It was his moment.
This was his moment.
He could have tipped them and made the show go to the next level.
We could have been there.
Huh?
So, Gav...
You didn't even put me up for tipping the round the week before. You don't even promote that shit on the website. What's going on here? That's why you shouldn't be the producer anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't be everything.
Give the blokes a leg up, Aaron. Come on, mate.
I'll try my best. I'm really sorry, guys.
That's all right. Just be better.
That's all right.
All right,
That's all right.
let's get into the Big Seven. Lukey had to chat to you about this. 6 teams have cleared out of in Premiership hope winning chances.
Yeah.
Who are they?
I reckon you can almost put a line through the rest. The obvious ones, South, Penrith, Brisbane on form probably, and then you got the next lot of Roosters, Cronulla and the Storm, who I think have had a different sort of mixture of injuries. Or I know Nico didn't play the first few weeks for Cronulla. The Roosters have had all
Does
sorts
he
of
make a
injuries.
difference aside, Nico?
Nico, yeah, just
Little bit.
just a little difference, mate.
A little bit.
If I get start talking about Nico, we'll be here for hours, mate. And then the Storm obviously had heaps of injuries with their middles and Ryan Papenhuyzen, all sorts of stuff.
It's funny because, like, you look at the ladder right now, second still on 12 points. You're at 11th on 10. So there's 2 points between on ladder, but you can actually see that I think the cream's slowly starting to rise to the top.
Yeah, I think the NRL did a really good job of the fixture this year, where they made the first 6 rounds. They tried to make them a lot of close games, which is sort of giving us a bit of a false ladder at the moment, I reckon. But we'll see how it all pans out. I mean, I had the Dolphins not winning a game pre-year, so...
Yeah, well, I think we'll both.
We all
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you think they will slowly just keep creeping down the ladder?
I don't know, because I think the sides like St George and the Titans and stuff like that, I think that there's improvement in the Dolphins.
Where?
I just think they get better every week. I was like you. I thought, they're going to be fucking shit house.
Yeah.
But they seem to be improving every week, and they got fight in them. So, and now I'd like to see them do well. Not that I didn't want to see them do well at the start, but I just thought,
Yeah, they're just tough, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of teams in that sort of bottom half of the 8 that nobody knows what you're going to get from them. Whereas at least with the Dolphins,
They're in
you're
the
going
fight.
to get.
And does that come from having that slightly older pack? Like they've got a few of those good old heads there.
I'm sure that helps. But I think just what Bennett's, he keeps it simple.
Yeah.
If you keep it simple and keep your shape, like we said before about them, they're hard to beat.
Yeah, they've done a pretty incredible job. Like I like to bag him a lot, but he's done a real good job.
Great job.
Do you agree with the 6, Nat? The 6 teams?
Do I agree with the 6?
Yeah.
I agree with the 6. Yeah, but
Is there a
This is-
team there that's pushing? Like Parramatta, they were like...
I don't know. But I think if Parramatta lose Hopgood, I think they're fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they haven't got much there without him. And he's a great player, Jermaine Hopgood. But I think, like I've said since the start of the year, Penrith play the Warriors. The Warriors are on fire, right? Then they play the Roosters and they play the Broncos. So I reckon they could lose. I reckon they'll lose definitely one of those games.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Look, if the Warriors beat them, they're in all sorts of games.
So if they drop out of that, the 6 that can win it...
Parramatta maybe fill that spot.
Yeah, I honestly, I went through it. Yeah, Parramatta's probably the next cab off the rank, and then you're looking at the Warriors possibly. I mean,
Yeah, wow.
They've had a huge turnaround this year. You would think it's a year too early, but
Yeah.
I mean they've been pretty impressive.
I can't see them winning a comp.
Nah,
I'm in agreement with the 6. I think they seem to be the right 6. I think South clearly look the team to beat right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, agreed. 100%
If the comp
agree.
was next month, luckily it's not.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're getting troops back by the week as well, like
Yeah.
middle forwards. Like Liam Knight's back this week for his first game in a long time, which is good to see. Totola was back last week, was enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Burgess off the bench just killed them.
Yeah.
They're a good side.
All right.
Have they got the best pack in the comp?
Yeah, they'd be pretty close. I'm maybe a little bit biased, but I reckon Cronulla's got a pretty good pack at the moment. Britain Nickera, they got probably 3 middle forwards out at the moment. They're still probably winning the middle in most weeks.
Mm.
Once they get Rudolph and Nukin, they've just lost ULA for a couple of weeks, but with Hunt and Kafusi, they've just got a really good pack of middle forwards, plus McGuinness.
McGuinness is a good player.
And I
Very
reckon
solid
Blake
player.
Brady's
So
super underrated too. Like he's just his balls out dummy half just on the money every time.
Mm.
All right, we better cut that, otherwise we'll talk about Cronulla for
Yeah,
another
that's
6
it.
hours.
Absolutely.
Don't get started on Nico. All right, topic number 2. What the hell's happened to the Dragons? What's happened to Zach Lomax? How's he been dropped from this side?
Natty?
How's he been dropped? Do you think
He's
his
been
form's
dropped.
Yeah, I'm saying, how? Did you say how
Who
he
was
has?
the bloke that ran him down in that game, Luke?
He's
Dead set taken an intercept. He's had at least 12 metres.
5 blokes run him down.
Like, what the fuck?
Braden Burns ran him down with one leg. He was limping the whole way.
I couldn't believe how slow he looked. What's
Yeah.
happened? He was a machine. He was in talks for Origin a year or two ago.
Yeah, Freddie was talking about him like he
Yeah,
was
he
the next
loved him.
Messiah. Look, he was the next Reg Gaznia. But I don't know. They tinkered with his goal kicking in the off-season, which has gone to absolute shit. He was one of the best goal kickers in the comp. They got Darryl Halligan in, who, I mean, is renowned as goal kicking whisperer. But he just sent him backwards, and his confidence is shot.
The side's very, very lukewarm and cold. It's not, they're not even hot and cold. They're lukewarm and cold. They're just fucking.
They played good footy against these. They definitely played good footy against these.
They always do that game.
Yeah, and we all spoke about that, saying it's a game we just ruled out form.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to take that game out, look at the games either side.
Yeah,
Their best player is Lowry, the front rower.
yeah, he's a guy.
He's a guy. He just has a go, and he's so consistent. He's their best player.
Yeah.
Are they a team that just plays to the level of the competition?
I don't know.
I used to think that. I think at the moment they're just a team waiting for their coach to get sacked, to be honest. They're like Hook's a dead man walking. They've told him he has to reapply for his job. They've come out in the media. They've said they're talking to Billy Slater. They're talking to Jason Riles. Like, he's going to go. Now Ben Hunt's saying if he goes, I'm going. Like, the whole joint's a shambles. Ben Hunt's getting moved to hooker this week, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to move Bud Sullivan into 7. Like, it's just the whole joint's a shambles. Like, yeah, those.
Are they a chance of running last? If it's as big a shambles as you think,
The Tigers still exist, don't they?
the Tigers could beat St George.
Well, they're playing this week. We'll see in the preview. We'll have a chat about it in the preview. But, yeah, I think they are a chance to run last for sure.
Okay.
I think they've got big issues.
I like that. Point number 3. Ponga's worst game probably of his career.
He's gun shy. He's gun shy.
Yeah,
His
and we've seen that. But what do they do with him? Because he clearly can't seem to not be able to play 6. And they've got the kid that's playing at
Lockie
fullback,
Miller.
Lockie Miller. What do you do with him?
I think
And
they've gotta
he's your
persist with him
marquee
and-
signing.
They just persist with him and hide him in defence. But how he used to tackle to how he's tackling now, he's cringing. You can see he's.
And
Man,
what
he
about
was
in
brave as
attack?
fuck.
What do you think of him in attack?
He looks okay. The thing about Kalen Ponga that I reckon I've really noticed is he looks gassed. He's played fuck all footy in the last 18 months.
Do you reckon he's as fit as you?
Oh, he'd have me covered by a whisker, I reckon. But, he just looks gassed after like 20 minutes. He's not used to making those tackles anyway.
Yeah.
So when you put him in the front line, hasn't played a game in forever, I think give him 2 or 3 weeks. But I think also it's heading very quickly towards a failed experiment.
Yeah.
And he's the highest paid player in the comp pretty much. So you can't just...
What do you do with him?
Yeah. I'd put him back to fullback. I know Lockie Miller's been really good. Maybe Lockie Miller can play 6. I mean, he's only been playing rugby league for a couple of years. Like
Yeah, but I think if they put Lockie Miller at 6, it'd become a real good spot. Everyone would be just running at him. be found out in the end.
Can't be any worse than KP.
Can't be any worse. But fair point, but he's not going to. KP gets knocked out. It's see you later for the year.
Yeah.
At least Lockie can get 2 or 3 concussions before he's in the same boat.
Yeah, that's
We've got the concussion bank now. Don't we? How many have you had? It's like
I can't
loading at the
remember.
moment.
Yeah.
It's turning into loading into those games. Wow.
I mean, the other option's Tyson Gamble, who I don't rate at all,
No.
but he's a solid defender. He tries hard.
He's a bigger body too.
Yeah, and they were winning with him in. That's the big difference. Like, but
How much longer have they got with Ponga?
on his contract, it's still a couple. I think he only re-signed recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess.
I think to me, he seems like a player that needs to go to a Melbourne Roosters. Like, he needs to be. I don't think you just build the team around him. He needs to go to where there's a team.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Like, he'd be great in a Melbourne system or a.
Yeah.
Well, look at Nick Meaney since he's gone to Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah,
example.
perfect example. Yeah.
I think if I was him, I'd be looking to maybe take a bit less and go somewhere where he's got a little bit more support and a bit more help.
Who takes him though? Who needs a fullback at the
Could
moment?
maybe fit him under the.
What are
There's
you
a
gonna
little
do?
bit of room.
Well, they can
under there.
protect him. Yeah,
What are you going to do with Teddy though?
Oh, mate,
And
we've-
Suwali and Manu and the other 6 fullbacks you got.
We've got a 14. At least we get Drew Hutchison out the fucking side.
do a swap.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Do a swap.
Yeah.
We'll see if
We'll swap Drew for head knocks.
Yeah.
Drew's never
Figure-
going to get concussion. Is he?
he doesn't move fast enough.
Oh,
Not enough force.
nah.
Oh, God. All right, let's move along. We'll revisit poor Gav here. The Tigers finally salute. What went right from that?
Obviously, the wet slowed Penrith down, but I just think the week before they showed glimpses of what they were going to possibly produce.
They
And
they
look,
were building, weren't they? There was, in essence, there was as you said, there was glimpses of good.
Yeah, Happy played brilliant.
Appy's a gun. They're starting to. Their signings are starting to bear a bit of fruit. Bateman's playing pretty good footy. Papali'i's.
I think
starting to play
they'll
well.
they'll beat the Dragons this week.
Yeah, I think I'll be with you.
Could
I
they go
think-
on a big roll?
I couldn't see him going on a big roll, but they could,
They do get the buy again in 2 weeks.
yeah. 2 games in a row is a big roll for the Tigers, I suppose. I mean, just to have a week where people aren't talking about them sacking the coach and their halfbacks dog shit is just. I think the fans will take that at this point, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I mean, I can see them winning this week. We'll have a chat about that later. But
Could Penrith be no good in the wet?
Looks that way.
yeah,
Looks
well,
that way.
I mean, World Club Challenge, then Brisbane round 1 on the weekend. That was beyond wet though. That was monsoonal.
Yeah.
That was
game
like when
in
Nat
Dallas.
takes his shirt off, hey Natty. There was
When me or Luke takes his shirt. Luke
That's
took
a
his shirt off
good
and got up the top of the stairs.
More like me jumping in the pool, I think.
all right.
Payne Haas.
All right. Point 5. Is Payne Haas the most important player to his team in the comp?
Was he as important as Cleary is to Penrith? He's important to his team, but is he as important as if Penrith lost Cleary this week?
Is
Do
it-
they make the top 8 without Cleary?
I think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
I think,
plays halfback then?
Oh, just some other kid from Penrith with a pedigree that
Yeah, maybe.
they seem to churn him out
I
like.
think so.
Yeah, I think.
I said that at one of the first shows. I said I think that Penrith are going to start to be a little bit of what Melbourne had been over the last 10 years. Maybe not as good, but in the fact of a big name comes out, someone pops up in the system, and I
Yeah.
think they've built that and they're starting to show that
Well,
they've got a lot of depth.
They've got that nursery out there, don't they? I mean, everyone's talked about it for years, but they've got the biggest junior system in the country.
Yeah.
They've had some really good junior coaches come out of there that have become senior coaches in recent years. They just seem to be getting everything right. So I think the other thing is, though, there's really not too many really good halves being generated in Australia, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, even if you look at some of the best teams in the comp, they've manufactured halves out of fullbacks, essentially. I mean, you look at Jerome Hughes and Munster at Melbourne,
Yeah.
Nico Hines. like a lot of these people are being manufactured because I don't know if it's because of the way we're playing junior footy or what we're doing, but
Is that because the best young kid just gets hold of the ball and runs with it, so they go to fullback and they do it?
yeah, but it could be, but I just think that, I think it's just the way they're the way they're coaching. I've heard a few sort of people that know a lot more than I do say that when they coach with all these block plays and stuff that they use in the NRL, and then these young kids come up and they play in the big time, everything just moves at a different speed and it's just completely different kettle of fish.
It's
And
too
takes-
structured. Like they're structured like it's a bit robotic. There's not many halfbacks that play eyes up football anymore. You know what I mean? You're a bit too scared to do it. When I was coaching the flag at Para and stuff like that, you could see that the kids were too scared to play eyes up footy or off the cuff footy. The stuff that probably got them to be graded.
to
You know
be
what I mean?
graded,
And try and say to them, boys, just fucking play off the cuff. Just play what you see. Don't worry about getting us to the post. Don't worry about this. If you see something's on, take it on. I think like finding a good halfback's like finding a baby seagull. It's fucking tough.
Oh,
as.
absolutely.
You know, so they're just they can't be found. So, you know, back to the question: is Payne Haas the most important player in the
gotta be off
comp, or
topic
is Cleary?
Yeah, he's up there for sure. He gets through so much work.
He'd be the forward that's probably missed the most.
I would even argue that if Adam Reynolds went out that side, they'd probably hurt more than if they lost Payne Haas. He is important, but your Cleary's your
Munster.
Yeah, Munster's huge. Obviously, Nico. Tedesco would be a big loss. I mean, you saw what happened to them in that final last year when he got knocked out.
Yeah.
There's
He's a big
probably
loss.
more important, but he's
probably the most important forward at the moment.
yeah.
All right. Point number 6. A Parramatta just flat track bullies. Where do they sit in the comp?
It depends on how Penrith go over the next 3 weeks for me. Where Para finish up.
But I think the question, look, can Para beat the Melbournes, the Roosters, the South?
Well, they've got a history of beating Melbourne.
And they have beaten Penrith a few times as well.
But I'm talking about this year, not last year.
Yeah, it is a bit different. I really think they're lacking at 9. I'm not a big Josh Hodgson fan, even when he was at his peak, and now he's a long way from it. I think in terms of they're probably the one side that could jump into that 6, but
They hit a bit of form.
But when they get their tails up at Bankwest on a Sunday at 2:00, they're unbeatable.
They're unbeatable. They play. It's like playing like Redfern All Blacks, isn't it? Like when they're on. Remember when you're playing like A grade and Redfern All Blacks would just turn it on.
Mate, I play for Alex Rovers. We beat them every week.
But you know what I mean? It was that same sort of style. You'd let them go and they'd just put 40 points on you and blink.
I don't know. Uncharted waters for me. It's never happened. You blokes over,
You were the Rovers.
You blokes that live on Bondi, over in Bondi and play that side. You maybe shit yourselves. We're all right. Fuck.
I was at Kenzo.
No, Kenzo. Same thing.
Same thing. All right. Point number 7. There's talk that there's going to be another NRL team in coming years.
Yeah.
Luke, we spoke about it. You said they very rarely like leaving it, so there's a buy.
Yeah.
Is the talent pool there?
The talent pool. I mean, the talent's always there. I mean, we had this same.
Pardon?
The talent's always there.
Where?
It's
Drew
out,
Hutchison?
It's out there
They
somewhere.
find it.
They'll
They
find
find
it.
it.
But
Yeah.
but have a look at the comp right
Well,
now.
look at the Look at the Dolphins.
Exactly. That's
You know what I mean?
that's as good a point as any.
We
Yeah,
looked
but-
at that and
but-
thought, oh, fuck, they're hopeless.
Yeah, but they look hopeless. But what happens then? I think what happens is it's like fun. The shit's funneled elsewhere, and it's maybe it's a good thing because now the comp's a little bit fairer. But do you go through now and look at a lot of these sides and think, fuck, he's a first grader, he's a first grader? I reckon you could go through every side right now, or not every, but at least say 6 of the sides, and say there's at least
Yeah, that's
4
fair point.
blokes in that starting 13 that should not be playing first.
That's
You're
a fair
not a
point.
first grader. Like,
Yeah.
and we pick on poor Drew. I'm sure he's the most real lovely bloke. But like watching him live, mate. Luke could turn him inside out. Like the lateral speed was just horrific.
The thing about Drew Hutchison is, he's not a centre. Like even.
Well, no, he's definitely not a centre. But there's other players.
I don't
as
think he's
well.
that bad coming off the bench at.
No, he's
14.
not. No, he's not. But look at some of the other players in the comp. There's a lot of players
yeah,
right now.
I
that
agree.
You wouldn't call them first graders.
Would he be better off going to the Tigers and playing 5'8" for the
Who?
Tigers?
Drew Hutchison. Oh, I mean, I don't know. We need a whole segment on Drew Hutchison. I don't think he's that important.
I'll give you another example. Kyle Flanagan. Is he a first grader?
Probably not, but he's only warming the seat for young Carl.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of injuries at the moment and stuff like that. I think the talent will they're going to make it be there, aren't they?
Why couldn't they, if they're going to bring a side in, why couldn't they bring in the Jets? They're always in the grand finals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the lower grade grand final, always. They've got a massive fan base.
Do you reckon they'll knock off the Dragons or the Tigers?
Oh,
Potentially.
I don't know. I haven't been to Henson Oval for a while. Henson Park.
I reckon Alex Rovers would give him a shake.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's not. I mean, I can't make a definitive.
Well, Joey Johns always talks about it. He says, fuck getting another side. Let's cut through.
Yeah.
He does say it, and I don't argue with that. I think you want to see the top line play, not Wonga Blake dropping the ball.
At the end of the day, the NRL if they can get an extra couple of zeros on their deal by having an extra game a weekend, they're going to do it.
That's right.
Doesn't matter if the quality's there or not. They
They
don't give a fuck.
they just build it up like they did the Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly right.
I think the Dolphins have been a success. So.
PVL will go to KO with his hand out and say, "Give us another zero, please," and they'll say, "Right, no worries."
I heard a figure. I don't know how true it is. That the Dolphins sold. This might be wrong. 100,000 jumpers. Did anyone hear that?
Well, I wouldn't have the full guess.
100,000 jumpers.
Would that be right? Someone was telling me. My uncle was telling me that they before the season started.
You see, the sponsor.
That's a lot of jumpers, isn't it?
That's a lot of jumpers.
Well, that's how you make money.
I thought there was a punchline coming in.
There's no, it wasn't. I was just thinking, it's a lot of jumpers. I remember when Joey came over to play for Warrington, and he cost, I think it was £100,000 to come and play for us for 10 games. Not even 10 games, more than 7 games.
Yeah.
And they
Did you play with him?
Yeah, I was captain there, and they what's the name? They got 1,000 jumpers at £100 each, and Joey signed 1,000 jumpers, and they sold them. Boom.
Do you reckon his signature was the same from the start to the next one?
Probably not. But yeah, but that was a good little money spinner for.
Who was the
Warrington.
biggest star at Warrington? You or Joey Johns?
I was definitely the biggest star.
Yeah. Did you run a close second?
I run a very close second. A very close second.
All right, let's move ahead to the preview. Magic round.
Yeah.
Are we feeling confident?
I think it's a hard round. I think it's really hard.
How about
Finding
tips?
winners.
Yeah, I wouldn't tip with any confidence this week.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Oh, there
Could
we
you?
go.
Yeah, why not? Why not be confident?
All
Yeah,
right, what do you got? Give us your
All right,
best.
Canterbury Bulldogs, $2.35 against Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, not this game, though.
There you go.
And the line's 3.5. Got the line there for you this week, Natty.
Thank you.
That's what the third column is, just clarifying.
You had the line there for me last week.
It wasn't there at the end of the show.
Raiders for me. I think they're building pretty well. Bulldogs still got a lot of injuries. I mean, the only game the Bulldogs have won in the last month is the Dragons, and we've already spoken about them.
Hard game for me. I'm gonna go with the Raiders too. Yeah, I'll go Raiders.
All right, the boys agree.
Happy with the Raiders?
I've got no opinion.
Oh, no opinion. Oh, right.
Not yet. I'll chime in when I feel
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
I'll get to do that from this chair.
Yeah, right. Just wondering, mate. Just wondering.
You're in the gun, not me. Manly Sea Eagles, $3.75 to the Brisbane Broncos, $1.28. The only team with the home ground advantage.
Yeah, and they've put away on the
on
the team sheets. Yeah, I think the Broncos could turn this one into a bit of a mess. I really like the Broncos this week. I know Tommy's supposed to be playing, but who knows? They get that cooler back. But Jake's out this week. Sipley's been suspended. They got some real issues in the middle. Payne Haas will want to sort of get one back for the boys.
Yeah, I like the Broncos too.
Yeah, I can see
and
them
will you be
making a
covering
mess.
the line? Or
11.5? Yeah, I reckon that's the child's play.
Really?
do you
Yeah.
agree, Natty?
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah.
He concurs. All right, New Zealand Warriors, $3.50 against the Penrith Panthers at $1.31. The line's at 10.5. Coming off a Tigers beating.
You want to say it, don't you?
I want to say it.
I can
wanna
feel it. I was
say
letting you go.
Look, like I said at the start of the year, I think they're going to struggle to make the top 4. And if I have to stand by my word, these next 3 games are what will definitely make it happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to...
You can always you can take the Warriors, mine obviously with start.
I'll take the Warriors with start. 10.5 start.
That's a cop out, I reckon, Natty. You're better than that. You're better than that, mate.
Look, but
Put 'em on the
it's
line.
very rare that Penrith
on the
come
line.
out and get beat twice.
Nah,
you
there's
know
no
what I mean?
chance getting beat, I reckon. I want to hear you tip it.
I know. I just 10.5 start. I'll take them.
Yeah.
Take the
Do
Warriors.
you think they covered the line, Luke?
Oh,
Oh yeah, here we go.
Well, fucking brave 2 seconds ago.
no, I'm a bit worried about Cleary. He's got a bit of a groin injury. He's not kicking goals. Nah, I don't think they will cover the line. I don't mind the Warriors with the line, but I think they'll win. The Panthers.
Okay. Here we go. Lukey's team, Cronulla Sharks, $1.35 against your nemesis, the Dolphins.
I'm heading up the Magic Round tomorrow. And
$3.25, 9.5 start.
if the Sharks get beat at this game, it'll absolutely ruin my fucking weekend.
Oh, bad.
There's a chance he could jump.
Yeah. Oh, they got a gap up there, or? Nah, surely. I mean, the Sharks have been scoring plenty of points. The Dolphins have been conceding plenty.
Yeah.
Jeez, I hope they get a fill up this weekend. Nice 40-10 or something.
How nervous will you be if it's 20-10 halftime Dolphins way?
Ah, you won't see me. I won't be watching the second half. I'll give you that tip.
What do you reckon, Danny?
I reckon Sharks will win.
Sharks
13
will-
plus.
13 plus. There you go.
That a boy, Natty.
That a boy. Melbourne Storm, this is a close one. Melbourne Storm, $1.95. South Sydney Rabbitohs, $1.85. 1.5 start.
I think the South will come out firing.
Yeah, I quite like South this week too.
I think it's going to be a hard game, but I'll just lean towards South just because of their pack.
I just think as well, Latrell and Cody have both been standing up in these
Yeah.
tougher games. Is it
Yeah.
something? But they've also been known to sometimes switch off at different times.
I'm interested to see what the South pack do to Big Nels. You know, Big Nels has been coming on and making a massive impact. I think the South pack are the pack that can shorten him up. You know what I mean? Sammy Burgess can match it with him for size. You know what I mean?
Georgie.
Georgie
Tommy,
Burgess.
sorry,
Sorry,
Tom.
Sammy Burgess.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jeez, we've got 'em
Tommy
all going
Burgess.
there.
Yeah, we've just been talking about Sammy all afternoon. I just think South for me. Especially with Melbourne beating them 4 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I quite like South as well. I think... do you know what I'm really interested to see? It's probably one things I'm waiting to see in the competition at the moment is Big Kamikamitha and Nelson playing the same team. I don't think they've played in the same team all year.
Mm-hmm.
They've been really dominant
Separately.
So I'm really interested to see them play together. I don't think Tui's back yet. But with the impact that George and Totola had off the bench of South last week, I think that Liam Knight is a bit of a sort of cultural figure at the club. Like everyone sort of likes him, so they want to get up for his first game in sort of 18 months. I think South's the one to lean on this one, but it's not with any great confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, West Tigers $1.95, St George Illawarra $1.85. Are you surprised that even though it's slight
No,
variance?
not really. I'm not surprised. I think the Tigers will win. I think the Tigers will go good. I just think St George were very disappointing last week, but they're the sort of side that can lift against a side like the Tigers.
Yeah.
And I just think Appy is the key there for me. I think he could tear St George apart.
What do you reckon, Lukey?
I'm leaning the Tigers as well. I just think St George are an absolute shambles. They're just like, I don't know what's going on there.
But they've only just been getting beat, like in each game. So they
Yeah.
have been close. But
But they haven't played any. Who have they played that's notable apart from the Roosters? But as we said, we throw the form out in those games.
yeah.
The Tigers, as you said, they've been building. It'd be really interesting to see what they do off the back of a win. I think last time they won a couple in a row. And they fell away for 12
I
months.
can't remember it was that long ago.
Yeah. It was in black and white, I think. But, yeah, lean the Tigers.
Uh-huh.
They've got a bit of value there.
Yeah.
All right. The Mighty Chookies up against North Queensland Cowboys. Roosters $1.25. North Queensland $4, 11.5 start.
I think Roosters 13 plus.
Yeah, I don't think 11 enough's enough.
Not enough. They're
Not
missing Cheese. Cheese is out.
No, Cheese is back. Cheese is named.
I read today that he might not be playing.
Yeah, he went to hospital with a neck issue, a nerve issue or something last week, but he's been named. But
I've been told he's not playing, I think.
yeah, right. I haven't.
Well, you'd know. You're always at training and then, aren't you, with your jumper
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
Love it.
Getting
Shareholder
autographs.
again.
Getting autographs. Was that you with the scarf then or doing something else there?
Yeah, oh, fucking hell. So you think that, too dominant?
What do you think of North Queensland this year, Natty?
I liked them at the start of the year. Now, I think they're atrocious.
Horrific.
They're hard to watch, aren't they? They were so good to watch last year too. They scored so many points.
They've got so many good players in that side. Townsend's
Well,
off. He's injured.
He's out now.
So
Yeah.
who are they bringing in?
Yeah, I'd usually be on top of these things.
Yeah, usually on
I don't
top of
know.
these things.
Who is playing 7 for North Queensland this week?
I don't know, but
Look,
I reckon
whoever it is they're
Townsend,
bringing in against the Roosters that are hitting some form.
Townsend to me though is I don't rate him as a player. I know he had an unbelievable season last year, and he had probably one really good season for Cronulla.
Yeah, that's exactly
I'll
how I would
tell you
sum
what,
him up.
what I think he should do.
He's dead set had 2 seasons of football, and outside of that, he has almost been a reserve. Like he's a fringe first grader in my eyes.
Yeah,
I
he
think
wasn't.
last year he should have capitalised on him having such a good year and went to England and got a real good contract to finish him off.
I think he's got a good contract where he is. I think they're giving him 700 or something.
How many more years has he signed for?
I think he's got a 3-year deal.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah.
Fuck, no,
he's
no
got another
problem.
2. But
I just
yeah.
think the thing with them last year was no one expected them to do what they were doing, and
Yeah.
they almost outplayed their ability. You know, when someone's just running so
Yeah.
hard, and it's just like you got to cash in your ticket. This year, and I was talking to someone the other day. He said, "Mate, last year they were scoring a lot of their tries off kicks." And he goes, things were bouncing their way. And he goes, this year the bounces just aren't there.
Yeah, I reckon that's a good metric in terms of teams might fall away, the tries off kicks thing. It just seems to not be very consistent year on year.
I think there's probably one team that did it well were East because they had Toops. And
Yeah.
There was one team that could do it consistently because they didn't change
it was a
that.
very different style of scoring off kicks. So like Jeremiah Nanai must have scored about 15 tries off kicks
Yeah.
last year, and
That's just non-existent there now.
Non-existent.
Well, he's suspended or injured every 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
he's out for another 4 at the moment with a crusher or something. Oh, it was one of them. What do they call
Hip
them now?
drops?
Hip drops, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, what a joke.
Buzzword.
All right, Gold Coast Titans $3 against the Parramatta Flat Track Eels $1.39, 7.5 start.
Yeah, look, I listened to Fafita get interviewed, and it's the keenest I've seen him for some time, and he's doing his usual barnstorming runs and stuff like that. So I just,
Oh, here we go.
I'm a bit iffy on Para. But I'm going to stick with him. But
That's
I
probably
just-
their best game they've played all year last week.
I think that Hopgood is massive, a massive buy for Para.
He's been really
He's
good.
one of the best players of the season so far.
Yep.
And he's the sort of bloke that could tear the Gold Coast apart. So I'm going to stick with Para, but Fafita for me is the sort of bloke that could tear Para apart. You know?
What do you reckon, Lukey?
Yeah, the Gold Coast Titans are not someone you'd generally put your hard earned on, but I like them with the line in this game.
You like him?
I think that they're doing some really good things up there in terms of their forward pack. Mo Fotuaika, Tino, David Fafita's been amazing this year. He's probably been the standout back rower of the comp. They got some outside backs that are just scoring consistently.
Could
that
this
young
be?
Company
Is this
now.
an overs game because they're both teams that can leak tries?
I would have loved to be on the overs if it wasn't the 8th game of the weekend
And
on Suncorp Stadium, which is a goat track at the moment anyway. What's the overs unders on Teddy slipping over in that Roosters game?
Yeah, 7.5.
He's gonna need some hiking boots to stay on his feet, I reckon. Give me the Titans with a 7.5 start. As I said, you wouldn't want to be truckloading them with your mortgage or anything, but they're too hard to trust. But
My only issue with the game, it could be a touch footy game.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's going to be high scoring, especially if it stays dry.
Yeah, as long as they don't get too much moisture up there. As I said, 8th game on the same ground could be a worry, but
All right, what's your bet of the round, Lukey?
better the round, Cronulla 20 plus. Go all in, mate. Nah, I really like Brisbane 13 plus as well.
Okay. What about you,
I
Natty?
like Roosters 13 plus.
Okay. Our man Drew, all the way.
Yeah. I'm a bit worried about the Roosters outside backs at the moment, eh?
Yeah?
Just, I mean, moving Manu out of an area where they were already struggling a bit, like, it's a bit of a worry for me. And now Tupou's gone down. He got sniped, the hammy.
Momorowski injured.
Momorowski existing for starters and being injured. I just don't know, like, I don't know where they're going to be able to produce too many of those sort of big defensive performances. I know the rain helped them out last week. But those edge defenders, the Butchers, Tupanua, Crichton, I'm just wondering if they can turn one of them into a centre. Like
Crichton.
Yeah, it's far-fetched, but Tupanua, one of the Butchers, Crichton, if they, like, sort of like he did with Orbo, I suppose, to a certain extent.
Yeah,
I know
so
Tupanua
I
played
used
a
to
little bit.
hate backing East if Orbo was in centre. Loved Orbo as a back rower.
Yeah.
Hated him as a centre. I just think anytime you've got someone that lacks that pace, they can get. You've got so
outside.
many good centres that they just get turned inside out.
Yeah.
And then you've
Yeah.
got those good sweeping fullbacks that just come straight through, boom, gaps on, a lot of
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Who's your try scorer? Give us a try scorer who's definitely scoring.
Try scorer is definitely scoring. What do we got? I can give you one.
It's got to be Mulatalo, isn't it? If you like your Cronulla boys.
Give me left winger Brisbane Broncos Jesse Arthurs.
Jesse Arthurs.
There we go.
I think that right side of me.
So Brisbane 13 plus Arthurs. Huh?
Yeah,
Big
and
guy.
then top that up with our friend Sydney Roosters. The left winger will be Corey Allen.
Okay.
I like those matchups.
There we go.
All right.
His big NRL brain.
Far from it, but yeah, those are the two probably leakiest edges in the comp at the moment. Outside of St George, but I don't know if I'll be tipping too many Tigers wingers in a hurry.
So if we combine our multi here,
Yeah,
Brisbane 13 plus, Roosters 13 plus, try scorers Paulo for the Roosters,
we're going Paulo and Allen.
Paulo
We're
and
taking
Allen, both wingers,
Oh,
into
exactly.
Sevo and Arthurs.
right.
All right? You got that?
Yeah, we
Mate?
got that. It's on camera, luckily.
Let's see how we go. I'm a bit iffy on Allen. I think Allen could be the weak link there.
Me too. Me too. Now I've said it out loud.
No? We get rid of him?
Yeah, get rid of
We
him.
get rid
you
of him.
want
There
another
you
one?
go. Just get rid of him. That's 3 try scorers, 13 plus, and 3 try scorers.
Yeah,
We'll work it out.
I get a bit greedy at times, you know.
Yeah.
Hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
Not only at the buffet, you reckon?
All right, that's another week of No Rules NRL. Click like, subscribe, and share. See you next week.
Peace out.